Hello, what is up everyone? My name is Jacob, aka MCJC. Now, last Friday night, I believe the 10th, I had gone to the Lost Caverns of Ixalan pre-release. And while I was there, I went ahead and I bought a box. And I got my pre-release. And right here in front of me is everything that came with it. For the pre-release, there my LGS, he gave some pins away. And because me and my fiance were both there, he ended up giving us 2 of these. But, obviously we're going to keep one for the collection. This dice right here came in the pre-release itself. And I like the way the small ones feel. They're heavy. They're just as heavy as these ones right here. This is the one that came in the box. I really like the designs on these. I really like the designs on these ones right now too. They're really nice. So I went ahead, like I said, I opened these. Obviously I opened the pre-release, but I opened my box while I was waiting for the pre-release to start. So I'm just gonna kind of go over the highlights of it all. These were the lands, and these are the lands from like just the basic lands. These are the normal cards, commons, uncommons. Stuff that wasn't part of the main highlight. These are the way I do it is like, yes, there's the mythic ones and so on and so forth, the rares and the mythics, but I look for price range more or less. So these cards right here are $1 and up, and I will, since the video is more or less focusing on the highlights of it, I will be going over the cards itself, going over the prices, and so on and so forth. Now, I do want to go ahead and state that the prices are from it's not from TCG Player. These are from the app that I use to keep track of everything. Obviously, TCG Player and other sellers and stuff and websites, they sell everything for a completely different price. Everything is different. This is just, for the most part, around about what they are going for. So, without any further ado, let's go and get started. First thing we will start with the art cards. Now, I really enjoy these ones right here. This one, I cannot read whose name that is. I imagine it is Alex Negria. Really like these cards. I have one more that is signed. I love the art cards. The art cards are beautiful in this one. And then let's see here. This one was made by Chase Stone. Like I said, I love these art cards in here. They're all very beautiful. The colors in a lot of these just pop more than I feel. The colors in these ones are, like this one in particular, I love. I mean, the colors just pop more. And I have a lot of art cards. I do. I like to buy my packs, but like this one right here, I absolutely love this card. I love the colors of it. I love how it pops. And we got this one right here, and the last art card we have. I love these cards. I love the art cards in this one. Very pretty, very beautiful. And I'm just going to put these ones to the side right there. So, we will go ahead and we will get started on these awesome cards. The one that I am absolutely most excited for is this one right here, Indominus Rex Alpha. Now, this one goes for about $15.66. He is a legendary creature dinosaur mutant. Now, if y'all watch the movies of Jurassic World, so on and so forth, you would know why he is a dinosaur mutant. I personally I love Jurassic Park. I love the movies. I love Jurassic World. They're so good. And whenever I pulled this, you could hear me from across the room just screaming my head off. But as Indominus Rex Alpha enters the battlefield, discard any number of creature cards. It enters with a flying counter on it if a card discarded this way has flying. The same as is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Then, when Indominus Rex enters the battlefield, draw a card for each counter on it. That is absolutely insane. The only problem is how much you are pretty much discarding. Now, of course, if you have the oh god, what am I thinking? If you have Graveyard Retrieval, then this is going to be perfect, because he is a hybrid, 2 hybrid blue or black, and then 2 green. Now, obviously, you can get some pretty good graveyard retrieval with black and green. This is just mostly black, obviously, but this is just a really good card. I was so excited whenever I pulled this card. One of my new favorite cards. It will be going up in the shelf, or in the cabinet. Second favorite card that I've found so far is Life Finds a Way. Life Finds a Way goes for about $5.78. It is an enchantment for 2 and 1 green. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. So right here, you can see it right here. Its flavor text is Ian Malcolm. Life breaks free. It expands to new territories. In I cannot read that. And crashes. That's what that word says. Crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously. But well, there it is. I was really hoping to find the Ian Malcolm card. Like I said, I love Jurassic Park. It has been years since I've seen Jurassic Park, and I wanted to go through and I wanted to buy a box of this and watch Jurassic Park while opening this box, and I probably still will. But just the Jurassic Park movies, I love. I love dinosaurs. Love dinosaurs. This right here is the last of the Jurassic Park ones. Obviously, I got some Jurassic Park token. I got a Jurassic Park token of dinosaurs, which is very neat. But you don't have you don't have much use for tokens. I mean, yes, you use tokens all the time, but you don't have any. They don't have any value, really and truly. Now, this island card is really, really neat. I love this island card. It is part of the Jurassic World, like I said. And you can flip this one over and get the other side. And I love this right here. I can't remember what it is called, what this dinosaur is called, but it is in the first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt as Owen. And you see it in the very end scene. It eats the Indominus Rex. So I try to keep them separated. Oh, I know it's stupid. That's okay. Onward. This card right here, the Fabrication Foundry. Oh, wait. Hold on. Before I continue, I forgot to say, that island card, this one right here, just about is $5.44, which is very cool, very neat. Did not realize, honestly, I don't remember seeing this card, so whenever I pulled it, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Not remembering seeing it, but once I saw it, I was like, looking through my app, and I was like, oh, there they are. Okay. So, let's continue. Fabrication Foundry. I pulled this one in my 2023 pre-release. This one right here is about $14.84. Now, I don't know if it changes because of this little symbol right here, because it's part of the pre-release. I don't know if that changes any. But it is a 1 in 1 white. And you'll have to excuse these protectors. They're really old protectors, and I wanted to keep these safe. And while I was traveling back from my LGS, and I just put them in the ones that I had on me. You can tap him, add 1 white mana. Spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability of an artifact source. Tap 2 1 white and tap it. Exile 1 or more other artifacts you control with total mana value X. Return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever I did my pre-release, I really was debating on doing a white to play with him, just because he's a good card, and I like this card. But I ended up choosing red and green. I did get my butt kicked. Unfortunately, the next morning I had to work, so I did concede a little bit early. I only got through 2 rounds, and then I realized it was 12 o'clock, and I said, oh crap, I have to go. I open in like 4 hours, so I left to go home and get a little bit of sleep. So, let's continue. Then we got Echoing Deeps. It is a land, and it is a cave. This one right here is going for about $6.43. You may have Echoing Deeps enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any land card in a graveyard, except as a cave in addition to its other types. And you can tap it for 1 colorless mana. I love the art style here. I like the little oh god, I can't even think of what the kind of like the Aztec the Aztec design. I really enjoy that. I really do. Then we have Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator. Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator is going for about $11.59. Now, he is a legendary creature for 2 and 1 blue. He is a Siren Pirate. He has flying. And whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. And he has partner. The partner is really nice for him to have, because you could play just for example, if you wanted to play, say, a white and blue, you could, as long as you have another legendary creature with partner, they both can be your commander, which is really nice. Especially with him, if you were to do, I think I've seen a lot more, okay, I don't know if it's black or red pirates in this one. There are more pirates in this. Black, red, green, I don't know, you know what, I was sitting here looking through these cards earlier, and I just don't remember. But, the point of it is to get as many pirates as you can out there, which is very nice. Then we got this dual land, Restless Prairie. Enter the battlefield tapped, and you can tap it for a green or a white. And then Restless Prairie becomes you can tap 2, a green and a white. And it becomes a 3/3 green and white llama creature until end of turn. It's still a land. Whenever it attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. That is very nice. That is a good card. This one is going for $1.45. Dual lands are always very nice to find and very nice to have. Always. Always, always, always. I actually try, whenever I'm playing multicolor of any color, I always try to have at least 1 or 2 dual lands in mine. Alright. Tishana's Tidebinder. Tishana's Tidebinder goes for about $4.10. She is a Merfolk Wizard for a 2 and a blue. Has Flash. When she enters the battlefield, counter up to 1 target activated or triggered ability. If an ability of an artifact, creature, or planeswalker is countered this way, that permanent loses all abilities for as long as Tishana's Tidebinder remains on the battlefield. That is a really good card. I do want to put her in my Merfolk deck, and I've been thinking about going through with the amount of Merfolk and pirates I have. I've been thinking about going through and making a Merfolk pirate deck. Now then, let's go to this one. Alright. Creature of the Schism, I don't know. It is a vampire cleric for 2 and a black. Has Death Touch. And whenever Creature of the Schism attacks the player with the most life or tied for most life, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. That's a mouthful. Whenever Creature of the Schism attacks while you have the most life or tied for the most life, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This one right here is going for about $1.23. Not too bad. It is a good one. I like this one. This one would be really good for, say, if I were to play with my Shield Dread deck, if I were to put in my Shield Dread deck, because every time I attack, if I have the most life or I'm tied for the most life, I can draw a card and lose 1 life, which is guaranteed 1 life per attack, because whenever you have Shield Dread, you draw a card and you gain 2 life. So at that point, you're tapping it, you're attacking with it, and you're gaining, 1 life per attack phase, along with whatever else, whatever other combos you have. So, next card is Poetic Ingenuity. Poetic Ingenuity is an enchantment for 2 and a red. Goes for about $1.14. And whenever 1 or more dinosaurs you control attack, create that many treasure tokens. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. This would be absolutely perfect in a dinosaur deck, because you are able to go through and just, if you're casting a spell, and if you go through and if you cast this and you have a whole bunch of one drop artifacts, because it's whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. Now, I mean, if you have a whole bunch of 1 drops, 2 drops, maybe even 3 drops, per turn, you can create a 3/1 dinosaur creature token. You can only do it once per turn, but if you go out there and you have this, and say you play Soul Ring late, you're able to go through and play that Soul Ring and then create one. Same thing for other things. So say if you have like Stratonic Resonator, Mana Crypt, or anything like that, it would do exactly what you're wanting it to. So let's continue on. Hit the Motherlode. It is a sorcery for 4 and 3 reds. Hit the Motherlode is going for about $4.04. And it has Discover 10. If the discovered card mana value is less than 10, create a number of tapped creature treasure tokens equal to the difference. Now, Discover is a new ability in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And to discover 10, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 10 or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. It gives you that option to put it into your hand. Almost said graveyard. It gives you the option to put it into your hand. Now, the problem is that if you put it into your hand, then you still have to go through and pay for it, right? So it can enter the battlefield. Right, let me double check that. I will double check that real quick. Cast it without playing its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Yeah, so it can enter the battlefield without you playing for its mana cost, or you can put it into your hand and use its mana cost later on. Now, there are advantages to doing so, and an advantage would be, say, if you got a card that said, like, oh gosh, I can't even think. Say if it was a flash card, and you just need something like that. So it's just something like that. There are advantages that you can have. So all in all, it's a really good card. The Discover 10 is really, really cool in my opinion. I actually really enjoy the Discover 10. I enjoyed playing with the Discovered 10 the other night. Even last night, I actually went last night to my LGS again, and I played in another tournament. We played in a Commander tournament. I played with my Shield Dread deck, and so I didn't get to play much with the Discovered, but I had a buddy there who had the Discover 10, and he was playing with it, and I was just like, wow, that's really good. Like, that's a really good card. So, it is a really good card. Really good indeed. Ooh, my goodness. The next card we have is Tarian's Soul Cleaver. Tarian's Soul Cleaver. It is a legendary artifact equipment for 1. It is going for about $2.32. Equipped creature has Vigilance. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. Then it has equipped 2. So that is a good one, especially if you are, you have a sack outlet, because if you're sacking a creature and you just sack a whole bunch of creatures, you're putting +1/+1 counter on it for each creature you sack, which is really, really nice. And at the end of the day, if you go through, and so it says whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard, that makes a huge difference too. But this would be really good in a token deck. Now, as you know, whenever you have a token, if the token dies, the first thing it does is it goes to the graveyard and then it disappears. It's completely gone, obviously. But it is not saying, for everyone in your graveyard. It says whenever a creature, an artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield. And so it's not, and that's not saying until end of turn. So say it's my turn right here, and I go through and I'm playing a token deck, and I decide I'm going to sack 10 creatures. 10 creatures is a little excessive, but we're just going to go with it. It gets +10/+10 counters on it, or 10 +1/+1 counters on it, and it stays. And then next turn, whenever my opponent goes through and You know, say she accidentally gets rid of, accidentally gets rid of, 3 creatures, sacks them, whatever. He'll get another +3/+3. Now, like I said, everything has to... I know that Magic the Gathering is very specific, and if I'm wrong, then go ahead and tell me I'm wrong. But from what I understand, whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. To me, that, from what that is saying, is it stacks. And for my example is relevant. If you have a sack outlet and you put this card in here and you're going through and you're sacking these creatures, if you have a Phyrexian Altar and you're going through and you're just sacking creatures, you're gaining whatever the stuff that the Phyrexian Altar gives you, but you're also gaining the +1/+1 counters, which is really, really nice, because at the end of the day, with it stacking, you could have a 20/20 out there. Who's going to be able to go through and kill a 20/20? Because you could also Voltron it. You could put like what's it called? Mirror Mage. Gives it hexproof and +0/+2. I believe it's Mirror Mage. I'd have to look up the name. But give it hexproof. They can't go through and they can't destroy it. The only thing that would be able to, you'd have to get rid of it then is if they make you sacrifice a creature. But at that point, if you have a token deck and you have to sacrifice a creature, you're going to be able to sacrifice any other creature. This is a really good card. Now, obviously, if the creature dies, you don't get to keep those +1/+1s. But you could just start all over again. Because if you've already made that many creatures, I imagine you could probably make more. So, this is a really good card. I would definitely suggest playing it in a token deck for sure. This one will probably go into my fiance's token deck because it is a very, very good card. Let's continue. Alright, Souls of the Lost. This is also, oh god, such a good card. It's a creature spirit, a 1 black. So, as an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Fathomless Descent. Souls of the Lost power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that +1. Obviously not the same thing as this, but this brings back this right here. I don't know if you could tell, but I put them side by side for a reason. It brings back this right here. Right here, it says this power is equal to the number of permanents in your graveyard. Now, if you had a token deck where the permanents go from your battlefield to your graveyard and then disappear, not the best one to have. This is something that you would want where if you have a whole bunch of 1-drops or 2-drops or 3-drops and that's what you focused around, that's where this would become handy. And then if you had like say the Elixir of Immortality, where you can just go through and completely put all those creatures in there, put your creatures in your graveyard, or put every card in your graveyard back into your library and shuffle it back up. That right there would be really OP. That is a good card. Now, Souls of the Lost, surprisingly, is going for less than what you would think. I think it's a really good card. I feel like it should probably go for more. And of course, if you had like the different art style, it would probably go for a whole lot more. But it's going for about $2.79. And I personally really like this card. I will probably end up putting that into my Shield Dread deck. If y'all don't know, my Shield Dread deck is my favorite deck. It's my first ever deck that I started making, and to this day, I play it, I rock it. That's what I rocked with, last night, playing at the Commander tournament that I played at. That's who I played with. I won a game, lost the other. It was only 2 rounds. Really good. She is my favorite deck. First ever made deck, and I plan on blinging it out, quote unquote. So, let's continue. Quintoris Canned. Quintoris Con. Tell me how I'm saying. I don't know how in the world I say it. Alright. It is a legendary planeswalker. Quintorius. Okay. It is 3 colorless, a red, and a white. Now, it's going for about $4 even, which is really cool. It's a really neat one. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. From exile, that is really good. So your +1 is create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. It's -3 is Discover 4, which we discussed what Discover 10 was. So Discover 4 is just exactly the same. And then it's -6 is exile any number of target cards from your graveyard. Add fire or red for each card exiled this way. You may play those cards this turn. I actually played against a guy last night who had this card, and he was who I lost to. Now he had 30 planeswalkers in his. He had 30 planeswalkers in his deck, and it was absolutely insane. And his longest turn took 20 minutes. And at that point, it was just like, man, this isn't fun. Like, I'm sorry, we've been sitting here for over an hour now. And I just told him, I was like, if you're going to kill me, please just kill me. Like, you've already gone infinite. And he had the audacity to go through and say, now, do y'all just want me to just go ahead and end it? I'm like, yes, please end it. At this point, it's not even fun. You know, he was like, you know, I don't ever play this deck that much, you know. But I'm like, yeah, I can tell because it's awfully brutal, but at the same time, I couldn't tell because you just seem like you just enjoyed it too much, and it was really good. I'm not trash talking him. It was really good, but at that point, I was not having fun, and I got mad, and I was sitting there like, please just end me. Like, I know your deck is good. My deck does not hold a candle to this thing, but if you're gonna go infinite, then do it. Not necessarily. I know sometimes it's hard to go infinite, but if you're gonna go infinite, just end it. Don't continue playing if you've already gone infinite. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people are like, no, I have a lot more I want to do. Yes, but you could do those other things in other games. Because like afterwards we played again. You know, we had enough time for another round. He did not play that one, thank God. We had enough time for another round of Commander afterwards. So just, you know, play nicely. Make sure everyone else is having fun too. I know it was actually just a 3-person Commander game that time, but me and the other guy were just sitting there, we're like, man, this is a little tedious. So just be courteous, guys. So we will continue to Brass's Tunnel Grinder. It is a legendary artifact. When Brass's Tunnel Grinder enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, and then draw that many cards +1. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Then if there are 3 or more boar counters on it, remove those counters and transform it. And then you descend if a permanent card was put into your graveyard from anywhere. I don't think that's new. It might be new. I don't think it is, though. You know what? I don't really know. Because this is the first time I've seen descend, but you know what? I could be completely wrong. I might be 100% wrong. But it is a legendary artifact for 2 and a red. It is going for about $1.65, and then whenever you transform it, it becomes a legendary land. Tectulon, the Searing Rift. You can tap it and add a red, and whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by Tekutalon, the Searing Rift, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. See, I like this card. It's a very good card. And if you go through and if I were to cast Contorious Con, it's three, a red and a white. And if I were to tap this part for it, then that's 5 drops. So I'd be able to discover 5. Right, discover? Yeah, discover. Very good card. I actually really like the legendary artifacts that they came out with. Speaking of the legendary artifacts that they came out with, I was lucky enough to pull this one, the Skull Spore Nexus. Oh my goodness gracious. Oops. Sorry. I was so excited to pull this right here. This right here is a $15.26 card. Really good. Legendary artifact, 6 and 2 green. I did get to play this whenever I was doing my pre-release. I'm sorry. I could not think of the name of that for a second there. Yes, I pulled this in my pre-release, and I was so excited. We actually there were some people there at my LGS talking about it whenever we were all talking afterwards. And they're like, "Oh, how much you want to bet? This guy, so and so is gonna pull it, or, I bet you that we're not gonna see anyone's gonna pull this. No, I bet you so and so is gonna pull it, or 2 people are gonna pull it, so on and so forth." And I was very surprised whenever I pulled this card, and I actually really enjoy this card. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness, each equal to the total power of those creatures. Then you tap it and tap it and tap 2 and double target creature's power until end of turn. Now, this is what bothered me whenever I played my game, whenever I was able to play this card. I played this card, I hit the guy for I think I had him, it was a 4-4 at the time, and so I got it up to an 8-4, and he chump blocked it, and it was just, I don't know, it was a little upsetting, because this is a really good card. I love this card. This also would be absolutely wonderful in a token deck. Now, I really think I might put this one and that other one into a token deck that I'm creating, or I might give it to my fiance for her token deck. I haven't decided yet, but this card is so good because, like I said, if you have a sack outlet, then you're just going through and you're doing so much. Now it is such a good card. So we'll see how well these ones will go. I want to move on to kind of like these 3 cards in particular. I just really like the art style of these cards. I got 2 of these ones. Belligerent Yearling. Now, Belligerent Yearling is only an 82-cent card. I got 2 of them, even for the the full art. Has trample. Whenever another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Belligerent Yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power until end of turn. It's a really good card. I like the card. I'm glad I got 2 because my fiance's working on a dinosaur deck, and I can place this into my own dinosaur deck if I just full on desire. With him having a 2-drop, 1 and a fire, it is a really good card. This other one right here, Cutzil Malamute Exemplar, is only like a 37-cent card. But it's really good. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with the power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So, whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I'd have to look into this one, look into the rulings for this one, because to me it sounds like it's saying for each creature you draw a card for each one. Now, I don't think that's, I imagine that's probably not true. So I'll have to look into the rulings for that one. But those are just kind of some honorable mentions that I had, because I really enjoyed those two. Now these are the special lands that came out with this one, that came out with the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I got 2 of the forest, and the forest are going for about 71 cents. I love the art styles in these right now. I mean, these are beautiful. I mean, seriously, I never would have suspected something like this right here. They are beautiful. They're just really pretty. Here is a swamp. The swamp is going for about 83 cents. The island is going for about 69 cents. And the cool one is this one, the plains. If I can grab it. My plains one is a hollow, as you can see, a foil. And the plains, this one in particular is going for about 93 cents. Now, I wasn't able to get the red one, unfortunately. I saw a guy who had pulled the red one. He had, I think I saw he had 3 boxes. And then afterwards, whenever I was talking to him yesterday, he said he bought 3 more of these in addition to his one that he bought. Now, the pre-release, you know, they gotta make their money back somehow. So they didn't have as many people pull up to the pre-release or participate in the pre-release as they were hoping, as the owners of the LGS were hoping. So they ended up selling these to him, and he got, like I said, I think he had three of these, and I believe he had 2 of the 4 precons. And I fully believe that he bought the other 2 later on, because whenever I went in before the pre-release started, he had 2 of each precon in his cabinet. And then last night, whenever I went back, there was 2 missing from the other 2 that he bought. So I fully believe that he bought them. But I had noticed that he had the mountain land. And I was like, bro, hey, I know you probably don't want to, but are you willing to trade that one mountain for this one forest? I got the other 4 colors, and I was like, I just really, really want to get the red. It's like, I'm willing to trade you. And he's like, no, I'm good. Yeah. I get that, buddy. Okay. So I do plan on buying another one of the boxes because, oh my god, I love Jurassic Park, I love Jurassic World, I love dinosaurs. So I'm really excited to go through and buy them and see if I can find, maybe Ian Malcolm or the paleontologist, or just any more of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I absolutely love them. But without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode, end the video, whatever we want to call it. I appreciate y'all watching. If you like this kind of stuff, please just leave a like. You don't got to follow, but if you do want to follow, just go ahead, follow, subscribe, whatever it is I'm doing here. Go ahead and do it. It helps the channel. Leave a comment even. It helps the channel a lot. But anyways, guys, glad y'all are here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.